Welcome, everyone. My name is Bill Ennis, and the person responsible for making the arrangements for our webinar series. Just to give you a little bit of background, we took the idea of BC Hockey helping local associations in their programming to the AGM this year to see what kind of a response we would get and what sort of activities we could get up to very simply assist with the operation of local associations. One of the ideas that came forward was the idea of professional development webinars, where anyone from around the province could join from an association, and we would host a series of them that would be designed to better inform local association people in their given portfolios about what was the sort of the state of the union in BC and some of the developments across Canada and coming forward in the business of BC Hockey. This is our fourth attempt at a webinar, and the first one for the officiating program. They've been well received. Just for your information, we will be taping this session, and then we do a little bit of an edit on the taping, and we have a web page opening up in a day or so where all the recordings of these webinars would be placed on the web page. So if you need to review something, or if one of your people couldn't attend tonight and you wanted to get them the information, then the video of the webinar should be available in at least a week's time here, certainly I think by the end of the week. In saying that, I'll turn it over to our two guests tonight, Sean Raphael and Larry Krause, and they are leading you through a session on the officiating program and some of the materials and programs that we have available for you and what you can look forward to for the remainder of this season. So in saying that, I'll turn it over to Sean.
Thanks, Bill. And thanks for everybody that's on tonight, taking the time to join us here and go through this first session with our program. I know there's a lot of recognizable names on this list here, so some of you are familiar with the format of online, and some of the stuff we're going to cover tonight are things that you've experienced through other webinars or in-person meetings that we've had, but we want to sort of give an all-around encompassing outlook of what our program has done so far this year and what we're looking forward to do in the coming months as the year progresses. So we're excited to be able to share that with those of you that don't know some of the things that we have in store, and use it as an opportunity to sort of review some of the things we've already gone through this season. So thank you, welcome, and I'll pass it over to Larry real quick to say hello to everybody as well. If Larry's still here. If he's not, I might carry on. We can introduce Larry when he might get back in place here. But where I wanted to start realistically was just to go through a very quick presentation that we have on the role of the referee in chief and the importance that that role plays within the program itself. Ultimately, when an official first starts, especially in that grassroots development component of an officiating career, the local referee in chief is going to be the greatest resource for that individual official. And we know that there's a varying amount of experience that each referee in chief or each association may have for the person in that role. And we just sort of wanted to outline what sort of is expected of that role. So I'm going to share a presentation with you here. It'll be a few slides long. I'm going to share my screen with you, so if you can bear with me for just a second while I get that going.
Now, Sean.
Oh, there's Larry.
Go now.
Yeah, sorry. Here's Larry. There you go.
Well, I think it was Mike Landucci that muted me seconds before I came on. I'm certain it had to do with Landucci. I'm certain of it. But thank you very much for the introduction, Mr. Bill Ennis. It's always a pleasure to be introduced by you after all these years. Thanks, Sean, for allowing me to be a part of this tonight. I recognize a bunch of names, as Sean alluded to earlier, and it's exciting to have this many referee and chiefs. We were talking earlier this afternoon, and we were upwards of 35 referee and chiefs across the province of BC that have joined us this evening. So I thank each and every one of you for partnering with us tonight. We are going to, as Sean sets up the presentation, we are going to talk about our clinic presentation, about how it comes together, the curriculum, the teaching techniques, how we choose our instructors across the province. Again, the mentorship program, which some of you have experienced already this season, and others certainly will experience it shortly. We are thrilled with the early results from both the clinic and the clinic numbers, and of course the mentorship program and the mentorship numbers. So we're off to a fantastic start this year. It appears as though everything is in place. Hopefully all of your audio and video is engaged tonight, and you are online and ready to go. I know how frustrating technology can be at times, but certainly we're thrilled to see all these names coming up on the screen now. Sean?
Thanks, Larry. So I'm going to go ahead here and share the presentation with you. So you should be able to view my screen now as we get into the presentation, and it's titled Association Referee in Chief. And it happens to feature our BC Hockey Officiating Development Award winner from this past season, 2014-15, in the Vancouver Thunderbirds Association, Trevor Boudreau, who happened to be a guest of ours at our AGM session as well. So those of you that attended that got a lot of good information and built a good network with other referee chiefs there on how to get prepared for this season that we're in now. What we're looking for ultimately with the referee in chief position, and what is sort of the expectation of the association to look for in the people that are filling the roles that you all have. First of all is obviously a knowledge of the rules and procedures. And we're going to get through to that with our clinics and looking in at our clinics and how we're educating not only the officials themselves, but our mentors and leaders in the program. But obviously that's the foundation that we want to have, and a good communication and organizational skill set for this position. And one of the things that Trevor touched on when he was with us with our group in the AGM is the ability for referee and chiefs to really recognize the importance of having a strong framework around them within their association, whether that's a small, medium, or large size association, really identifying the needs of the officials that are part of that development program, and recognizing when things may need to be delegated, when things may be the responsibility of the referee in chief, or when you can utilize some of your up-and-coming or senior officials to really take on some important roles in development, so not one particular person is too overwhelmed with the responsibilities. We obviously want all of our referee in chiefs certified, so you are up to date, and that gets again back to the clinics and the clinic presentation that Larry alluded to, that we've really tried to standardize and keep as consistent as possible across the province by implementing that presentation that we have used now for the past 3 seasons. And then that you're respected by the officials within your local program. So while you don't necessarily have to be an experienced official or an official that worked elite levels of hockey in particular, but as long as you've been able to build a rapport with the officials and they feel confident that you can represent them within the association, within the district. So those are sort of the qualifications and qualities that we look for in people that are taking on these types of roles. Your annual duties, a lot of you serve as executive members within your own minor hockey association or in some type of structure where you have to work with the executive and represent the officiating program, and in particular your own association development program for the officials. So it's obviously something that's ongoing throughout the season, and there's always some lead up through the summer getting ready for the year in those respects. The ability to establish recruiting strategies that meet your association's needs. So whether you're in an association where there's an abundant amount of interest in officials and that you're recruiting in a manner that you're filling in the spaces that you need to recruit officials for, or if you are short officials in general, establishing strategies that meet the needs of your association, whether that's pulling in from within your own association for participants to take on the officiating role, or looking outside of the association for possible opportunities. The request for clinics and communicating with your coordinator. So depending on where your association is located, there's going to be an officiating coordinator for your that covers your district and the associations that are surrounding you within the district. And I hope everybody's been in touch, if not once, multiple times already with your coordinator. And I'll show you later as we go through our website resources where we can find that contact information if you don't know that already. But we do have 12 of them spread out amongst the province, in addition to Larry, who's our minor development coordinator, and myself as branch referee in chief. Establishing a development program within your association. So this is an interesting one that varies from referee in chief to referee in chief and association to association, because in some cases there's already a pretty well structured development program in place, and it's just a matter of maintaining that and enhancing it as the development evolves with the officials that are in the program. And in some cases, people are starting from scratch, and that's where your fellow referee in chiefs, coordinators, and ourselves within the branch program can hopefully provide you with resources to help get that underway and get a development program in place if there isn't one already. Assignments within the Minor Hockey Association. This often falls on the duties and responsibilities of a referee in chief. And again, going back to the concept of being able to prioritize and manage and delegate and utilize officials and senior officials and potentially volunteers within the association to help you cover the many responsibilities, including game assignments, and working with the teams and making sure that we're getting the appropriate games covered within the association. And then there's an element of supervision, mentorship, evaluation, and recommendations in general, which will all have their own sort of chain of order that they go through. Supervisions themselves, obviously we want to be able to go to you as a first resource for information about officials within your association. But that evolves into mentorship, which Larry mentioned in our minor mentorship program, which we'll get into more detail about. And that's where the real evaluation comes into play, and hopefully our program is going to be able to support and reinforce the messages that you're putting out to your officials. And then, of course, recommendations, whether it be to our officiating coordinators who help us with championship scenarios, high performance opportunities, and even possibly movement into the above minor program through the several steps that we have in place within our development model. So there's varying responsibilities, but it's really a collaborative effort, but it's something that's on your sort of annual calendar as a referee in chief to be aware of. These are some of the key highlights that we want to make sure everybody's integrating into their annual plan and their developmental plan.